Coming up tonight on VCU InSight.
The Louisa sexting scandal affects all local schools. What they're doing about it, coming up.
Last-minute notification of a major cycling competition downtown changes the VCU final exam schedule and causes chaos for some students.
And one of Richmond's popular nature attractions places second in an international contest.
All this and more.
VCU InSight starts right now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Matthew Hall.
And I'm Joshua Jackson. Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight. An ongoing investigation involving more than 100 students is taking place in Louisa County, but it's got all local school systems on alert. InSight's Onofrio Castilla is in the newsroom with more. Good evening, Onofrio.
Good evening, Joshua. Sexting. It's become a problem nationwide. Young people, many of them minors, snapping revealing photos of themselves and posting them onto social media sites. When the Commonwealth Attorney for Louisa County, Rusty McGuire, talks to a group of students, there are a few points he stresses.
And every time you're sending a picture on a phone, that's equivalent to posting it on the internet because it's on a server somewhere.
An ongoing investigation in rural Louisa County uncovered a sexting ring in which over 100 students were posting nude photos of themselves and others on the social media site Instagram. Instagram took down the site immediately after being contacted by the Louisa County Sheriff's Department. McGuire says that students don't have a full grasp on what they're doing.
Every time you put a nude picture of a minor out there, it's ultimately going to end up in the hands of the predator.
While no Richmond students are involved in the investigation, parents and city school officials have concerns, as well as ideas about how to limit a student's social media use. Richmond City School Board member T.C. Pickney says that it is the responsibility of parents and teachers to warn students of the dangers of sexting.
Being mindful that I don't know that we can control everything that the children are going to do, but just really reinforcing the appropriate use of the technology.
Currently, no uniform social media policy for the city school system exists. Pickney says one is needed.
We've all got to be on the same sheet of music. One school leader can't enforce it where another school leader will not enforce it.
The Louisa County Sheriff's Office has said that it is unlikely any student will be charged in the investigation. Officials agree that efforts should be focused primarily on prevention. An information session about sexting was held by McGuire for the students and parents of Louisa County on April 30th. No such plans for Richmond Public Schools currently exist. Back to you, Matthew.
Thanks, Onofrio. Take Back the Night brings awareness to sexual assault, so VCU's Sexual Assault and Violence Education Student Organization held its annual Take Back the Night event April 25th. The event included various speakers and performers and award presentations to VCU Police Chief John Venuti, among others. Rape victims were given the chance to share their stories during an emotional survivor speak out. The event ended with a march through the streets of Richmond, spreading awareness about sexual assault.
Shocking news on the VCU campus. 2 students committed suicide within the last month, just 5 days apart. It's left the campus grieving and wondering why. Olivia Whittam has more on the story.
A really good friend to a lot of people. You know, he touched the lives of everyone he met.
Stefan Martin is talking about his boyfriend, 18-year-old Hobie Kubczynski. Kubczynski was a pre-med freshman at VCU, who Richmond police say killed himself by jumping from the Lee Bridge March 30th. Martin and Kubczynski have been dating since the beginning of the year. He spoke to us from CNU in Newport News. He says the death has been very hard on him.
He was the type of boyfriend who would just always, be there for me unconditionally. He was kind of, personal cheerleader who next time when I was having a bad day, he would always know how to cheer me up.
According to suicide.org, suicide is the second leading cause of death for college students. What's so shocking to VCU in this case is that another student killed himself just 5 days later. Police say VCU senior Kelechi Uchella hanged himself in Fairfax April 3rd. VCU spokesman Mike Porter released a statement saying the university has been in touch with those who are close to both students to make them aware of the available university resources that provide support. In the meantime, Stefan Martin is left to grieve.
Find someone else to measure up to him, and I don't know if I believe in multiple soulmates or anything like that. I mean, I felt like really connected with him on a soul level, and letting go of that has just been like a really hard process.
For VCU InSight, I'm Olivia Whittam.
The VCU provost in an email with resources that the university offers for students coping with mental health issues. A few weeks ago, we showed you an East End Cemetery's effort to clean up overgrown gravestones. Now, those same volunteers are cleaning up vandalism at the cemetery. VCU InSight's Emily Akiyama found out what happened and what is being done to fix it.
On April 2nd, volunteers discovered 4 gravestones vandalized at historic East End Cemetery in Henrico. Volunteer coordinator John Shuck was one of the first to find them.
I mean, I know on this one over here, they broke the one gravestone, took the piece, and it looked like used it to smash the other one.
East End Cemetery is a historically African-American cemetery that was founded in 1897. Shuck estimates that 5,000 people are buried on the 14-acre property. The vandalized gravestones date from 1941 to 1970, but there are some graves at East End that date as early as 1901.
Throughout East End's rich history, an incident like this has never happened before. Volunteers say they hope it doesn't happen again.
Annie Boleyn is a VCU student working with the Aspire program, a service learning project to create change in communities. She is one of a group of 8 students in her class who volunteer at the cemetery regularly.
I just think that there needs to be a greater respect for cemeteries in general.
Shuck says that there are no plans to replace the vandalized gravestones. This is because the vandalized stones look like many other stones that have been broken by trees falling and cracks in the ground. However, volunteers say they're not discouraged.
I'm not glad it happened, but I hope that the community realizes that there's a problem and we get more outreach.
They still want to reach out to make the stories of those buried at East End known. For VCU InSight, I'm Emily Akiyama.
Volunteers are hoping to get a fence to prevent incidents like this in the future.
They're known as the other side of Havoc. They're the VCU Pep Band, known as the Peppers, and they're the mainstay at VCU men's basketball games. InSight's Olivia Whittam is in the studio with a special guest to find out how the Peppers are spicing up and gaining national recognition.
I'm in the studio with Ryan Capacci, director of the VCU Pep Band. He has a habit of getting VCU fans rowdy. Ryan, thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
If anyone has gone to a VCU basketball game, they certainly know the Peppers. How did you make such a name for yourselves?
Just hard work and goofing off. You know, it's funny, if you have a good time, I think it's kind of infectious, and, you know, people seem to like that.
Well, I know that Wrecking Ball became sort of your anthem this year, and I was wondering if you could tell us why that song.
Well, you know, pop culture is very contagious, and, you know, that song in particular really took the country by storm and the youth, and so everybody started picking it up, and I really debated on whether or not I wanted to play it, and once we did, people seemed to like it, and then we kind of kept transforming it and making it a little bit better and better, and I think every time more and more people liked it, so that was very cool.
Did you have any other choices for songs besides this song?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we play every year. We try to incorporate a lot of different pop songs into what we play. The problem with pop music, it's dated, so, you know, sometimes you can only play it for, I don't know, 6-7 months before people forget about it. But, you know, that song and Miley Cyrus in general, sort of this generation's Madonna, has sort of, you know, carried the test of time. So, but, you know, we play a lot of recent, up-to-date music.
We actually have some footage of you performing, and we know that you do some crazy things, such as wear Superman suits to taking your shirt off. And we wanted to know a little bit about how that comes about.
Well, you know, I think it started 12, 13, 14 years ago. when we were playing at a game and the band was just really, really playing, and they were playing well. And I was just, for whatever reason, I was just really fired up. And the teams weren't exceptionally good at that time. I mean, they were good. We had great players, but for some reason, I don't know. I ripped my shirt off, and somebody was like, "Man, you should do that again." And I didn't really think about it, but then it became this whole big ordeal. So that's kind of where it all came from.
Okay. Well, we know that the Pep Band and you have traveled to NYC and have played at March Madness, and we want to know what are some of the most exciting things about playing there.
You know, New York City is always great because of the exposure you can get just from being on the street. There's so many people, and so many people appreciate that stuff because it's because of the hustle and bustle of the city and the town, that, they often, while they might not stop and appreciate it, they do. When we were in San Antonio, we went and played on a boat down the Riverwalk in San Antonio, which was really cool. The band has gotten the opportunity to do a lot of really out-of-the-box stuff, playing on the Today Show, on a bus wrapped in VCU letters. It was great. Everywhere we go, we try to do something a little bit different.
Well, are you excited for next year?
Yeah, every year brings a whole new set of challenges and is very exciting.
Well, thanks, Ryan, for joining us. I've been talking to Ryan Capaci in the studio today.
Thanks, Olivia. There are proposed plans to transform the farmers market on 17th Street into a public plaza. The plans call for a plaza of about 100 yards decorated with trees, seating areas, public art, a dining space, and even a potential bandstand. The City of Richmond's plans for the market have been mostly well received by the attendees of a public meeting earlier this month. Officials hope to complete the project before an international cycling event comes to Richmond in 2015.
A major change made to VCU's final exam schedule is leaving some students racing for extra study time. The event is happening near campus, is causing confusion among students. InSight's Teresa Galasso is in the newsroom with more on the story. Good evening, Teresa.
Good evening, Matthew. A bicycle race is bringing over 800 people to Richmond. This race is cutting directly through VCU's campus and is causing a change to final exam schedules. Final exams for VCU student Jordan Donnelly just got a little more stressful.
Apparently we got a mass email, but nobody reads the mass emails.
The email from VCU informed students that exams scheduled for Friday, May 2nd will now be held on Wednesday, April 30th.
It made me lose a whole entire weekend of studying.
The reason is the 2014 USA Cycling Collegiate Road National Championships. The race route shown in blue cuts right through VCU's campus.
So why only 1 month's notice? This press release from May of last year says that the race will be held in downtown Richmond, when this one from February quotes City of Richmond Mayor Dwight Jones and Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe saying they're excited it's coming. The question is, who told VCU? A race that VCU officials say the City of Richmond didn't tell them about. VCU Senior Vice Provost John Winsek says he heard about the event just this March.
Unfortunately, we really weren't brought into the communication loop as early as we would have liked.
In a later email to VCU InSight, Winsek says, "My understanding is that VCU was not consulted about dates or course locations. The course traverses city-owned streets, so they can make that decision without our input. I reached out to 3 different people from City Hall, but not one would comment on this story." Winsek says VCU didn't have a lot of time to address everyone's concerns.
We had to look for a solution that minimized the impact on our students, and we felt
the final exam schedule picks up as normal after the race is complete. Back to you, Joshua.
Thanks, Teresa. 50-year-old photos are taking the spotlight in a project happening at VCU libraries. The Freedom Now project is intended to capture a key moment in civil rights history. Tamara Thornton is the daughter of a man who, at the age of 12, became part of a story that would help shape the legacy of the civil rights movement. She learned about VCU's efforts to recapture that legacy on the internet.
Immediately, I clicked on it, and when I clicked on it, I saw all these photos. So the first thing I did was call my dad, and I was like, hey, I'm going to send you something. I just want you to take a look at it and see if you can identify any of these people in the picture.
That something was a link to VCU's Freedom Now project, and the pictures were of a group of teenage protesters who set out to take back their education after public schooling had been closed for 4 years. Tamara's father, Edward, was one of those students out of school. He recalls what it meant to make up for lost time.
I went from the 6th grade in September, went to the 7th grade in January of '64, and by June, that would put me in the 9th grade. So I went from the 6th grade to the 9th grade in 1 year.
When desegregation became law, Prince Edward County defunded their public schools. By 1963, school was out for 4 years. For the people of Farmville, that was long enough. This is the archive section of Cabell Libraries in VCU and the birthplace of the Freedom Now project. The project is recording the 1963 protests in Farmville, Virginia. Edward Thornton praises the project as a teaching tool, raising awareness about a key historical event.
I think that this is something very good that need to be disclosed and presented and preserved.
The Freedom Now project is part of VCU's goal of building collections of activists and special interest communities. They are still on the lookout for contributors or anyone who has information or names to add to the collection. If you have pictures or other information, send them to freedomnowproject.vculibraries@gmail.com.
Spring is here, and so are many new babies at the Metro Richmond Zoo, including a camel, a kangaroo, red river hog, and now a giraffe. The currently unnamed giraffe was born April the 21st to Jessie, a 13-year-old giraffe at the zoo. This is Jessie's 4th calf after being the only giraffe who did not take care of her first 3 babies. This time, the newborn boy weighs 175 pounds and is over 6 feet tall. The baby is nursing and stays close to mom at all times. The 2 giraffes went back on display April the 25th after allowing 3 days for them to bond. You can see them on Giraffe Hill. In addition to the new baby giraffe coming on display, the 5 baby cheetah cubs are also out to play at the Metro Richmond Zoo. Richie, Rico, Chester, Amelie, and Hannah were born in October of last year. They are the first litter for Lena, the mother cheetah, and for the Richmond Zoo. The cubs are named for the county surrounding Richmond. Each cub have a shaved area for visitors and veterinarians to tell them apart. The Richmond Metro Zoo says that the best place for the visitors to see the cheetahs is for the observation platform closest to the exhibit.
You may have heard of the various Real Housewives reality TV series. Now get ready to hear from the real baby mamas of Richmond. InSight's Teresa Galasso is in the studio with a special guest.
I'm in the studio with Aretha Lewis. She's the producer of an online reality series called The Real Baby Mamas of Richmond. Aretha, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So it's called The Real Baby Mamas of Richmond. Can you just tell me, for people who are watching who don't know what it is, what is a baby mama?
A baby mother is the same thing as a mother. I really gave it that title to kind of gravitate to the viewers, you know, and I knew it would attract a lot of attention, and it did exactly what I wanted to do overnight.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm a mother to my kids. I take care of my kids by myself. Most of the fathers are absent, except 2. So I just gave it a name really just for promotional reasons.
Yeah. So the show is a YouTube reality series, and I'm sure you've heard of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, all those. Is that where you got your inspiration from for the Real Baby Mamas?
Yes, kind of, because it's just so much reality TV that's here now on television. I mean, all kinds, from Honey Boo Boo to the Housewives of Atlanta. So I just decided to give it a try, you know. It doesn't hurt to try, so I put a little thought into it. I really didn't even put a lot of thought into it when I did it. I just said, okay, well, I'm going to come up with this and
now look at it. I mean, it's great. It's got 80,000 hits on the first episode. And in the first episode, you actually were casting. Is there something that you look for when you're casting for baby mamas?
Yes, I did. We did like a casting, and I just wanted different stories, people with different struggles, you know, what they went through growing up, and then what's the difference with how they're raising their children now. So, you know, everybody has their own unique stories and
yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
So with the baby mamas, I know you're producing the Real Baby Daddies of Richmond. Is it similar? Do you look for different traits in a baby daddy than you would for a baby mama? Or is it about the same, it's just one's a male and one's a female?
Yes, it's just pretty much the same. One's a male and one's a female. Cause like there are men out here that's actually playing the role as like a mom would play, and then we like one of my members on the show, she doesn't physically have her kids in her custody, but she's in their lives. So it's just like from both sides.
Yeah, and with the show, I know there's a lot of real stuff happening, so it's very relatable, very real. And we actually have some video of episode 3, I believe it was, with Noonie and with Sophia, and just a lot of drama happening there. Is that something that happens often on the show? Is it something that, do you like take sides in that, or are you neutral?
I just kind of be neutral, because one thing that I've learned, I've never been a person to deal with a lot of women, but with this going on, I have to deal with them. So it's just like pretty much drama automatic. You really don't even have to script it. It just pretty much comes natural.
Right. And at the end of episode 1, I know you said that you really want to inspire others to, you know, be better, I guess it was. What exactly is it that you want people to get from this show?
Well, really, I don't condone single parenting, because at the end of the day, we all want that family stability with the husband, the children, the home, all of that. But myself right now, my current situation doesn't call for that. So I just want it to be known that it can happen with a father or without the father. I have 4 beautiful children that are successful. Everybody is on the honor roll, the dean's list, you know, scholar roll. So it can be done. It's just what you put into it to make your children become better people in society.
Yeah, and that's great. So I guess you're ending shooting, or you're in the middle of shooting season 2. So is there anything that we can expect that's different from season 1? Any new characters?
Yes, we have 1 new permanent character, and then we have some people that'll be guests on the show. And we got a lot of interesting stuff coming up. Like I said, season 1 was really just like the learning experience for us. We were kind of feeling our way through it, but now we've updated the camera, the videography, and things like that.
So real quick, what exactly, when does it premiere? When's the premiere?
June the 7th it should premiere.
7th?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. I've been speaking with Aretha Lewis, the producer of the Real Baby Mamas of Richmond. Nice to speak with you, Aretha, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Teresa. Late night cookie delivery is taking a firm hold on the VCU campus. Just 1 month after a local cookie delivery company, Red Eye Cookies, opened up, another cookie delivery company, Campus Cookies, announced plans to open near VCU. Red Eye Cookie Company has been doing very well since its opening late last month. They have plans to move out of Sally Bell's kitchen on Gray Street and into a venue of their own. Owners Colin Wright and Braden Pleasance say they are not worried about the competition.
One area of downtown Richmond has undergone many changes in the last 10 years. And the addition of a new coffee and record shop in this location is another attempt to keep the revitalization of downtown going. Nick Wright has more on this story.
Monument City Coffee and Records is a new local coffee shop located on the 300 block of East Gray Street. Its goal is to add to the growth of this area of Richmond.
We worked in the neighborhood, so we knew people that lived and worked in the area and had talked to them for long enough that we thought it would be a good idea to be here.
Owner Eric Truitt believes strongly in the cafe and thinks his coffee shop can help turn around the empty feeling of this part of town.
You can see where this area is coming back. More people are moving in here residentially, more restaurants and businesses are moving back, so we think it's the beginning of a kind of a downtown resurgence, so we are ready to be a part of that.
The area has seen many changes in development over the last 10 years, including the reconstruction of Richmond Center Stage, the Carpenter Theater, John Marshall Hotel, and Richmond mainstay Penny Lane Pub. Joshua Sun is a graduate student at VCU concentrating on regional urban planning. He says that Monument City has the right ingredients to succeed here.
I think it will be a great asset considering like last year there was about $1 billion worth of development going on in terms of residential construction in downtown Richmond.
The coffee shop is also a record store, making it a unique addition to the area.
If you're here with a few people, if they like music, they can do that. I can sit here, eat, and drink coffee.
With Monument City adding to the growth of this area, it has given reassurance for the restoration of downtown Richmond.
For VCU InSight, I'm Nick Wright.
Monument City is also teaming up with local breweries to expand their menu and are planning to serve alcohol at the beginning of this month. And finally tonight, the Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden brings in kids, parents, young couples, people of all ages.
And it was recently voted #2 in public gardens. Quite an honor. InSight's Zarmina Wasim has more on the garden's growing popularity.
5-year-old Thea Sarve is a regular at Lewis Ginter. She may not know it, but she's experiencing an award-winning garden.
I kind of like the children's garden.
Lewis Ginter took second place in USA Today's Reader's Choice Award contest this year. Grace Chapman is Lewis Ginter's Director of Horticulture. She says the garden is only 30 years old, relatively young for a high-profile ranking.
Some of the gardens that we were competing against were over 100 years old, so they're much more established gardens. And we're really proud to be involved in the rankings.
The Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden competed with 20 other gardens internationally. USA Today says the Reader's Digest Choice Award contest of 2014 was the most popular in its history. Jean Shipman says she's been coming to Lewis Ginter since 1981. And for Richmond, it's much more than just a garden.
My husband and I, he had a hip replacement. We started coming out here for therapy. We would walk and it's a short walk. It's safety, but it's nature. And there is nothing more calming or healing than nature.
Lewis Ginter's Chapman says America has always been interested in gardens, but more support and publicity will keep visitors like Thea and Jean coming back for years to come. For VCU InSight, I'm Zarmina Wasim.
The Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden is now hosting its annual showcase of butterflies called Butterflies Live.
Wow, Joshua. Garden, butterflies, waterfall. Looks like a good place to take a date.
I'll be out there the first sign of sunshine. I got mine called.
I'll be out there once I get a date. That's it for this edition of VCU InSight. Make sure to check out our website at insight.vcu.edu.
You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under VCU InSight. Contact us with any stories you'd like to see on our show.
And if you missed our show or would like to watch it again, you can find us on YouTube at VCU InSight.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joshua Jackson.
And I'm Matthew Hall. We'll see you next time.